this is Laura DeMeo with XRCEL, and we have Rebecca and Laurel Wassner joining us today. They are XRCEL ambassadors, twins, pro triathletes, and they are also food bloggers at athletefood.com. They recently raced a full distance triathlon called the ISRAMAN over in Israel, and where they had an incredible achievement. Laurel won the race, and Rebecca was right behind Laurel, placing second. So it was really an incredible accomplishment, and they are here today to tell us about their race and the whole travel experience. So thank you guys for joining us today. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Yeah, so let's start by telling us, why did you decide to race ISRAMAN, and what led you to that decision?
It was definitely Laurel's idea.
And I'm gonna share my my screen with you just so the viewers can see some pictures.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So it was my idea, and I talked Beck into it because since she had a later start to her season after having her second baby, Des, she was still getting into shape and didn't have a full season like I did. So I convinced her to keep training through the holidays and come to Israel with me and keep me company on during the Ironman. That was our plan. And we heard about the race through one of our friends who was going, Jenny Fletcher, and we thought it would just be a fun way to see a new country and race and see our friends.
Awesome. So it sounds like it was quite an adventure. So tell us a little bit about the whole travel experience. So it looks like you're, go ahead.
Yeah, so like Laurel said, this was kind of an unconventional start to the season for us because it was doing an Ironman in January, which most pro triathletes are kind of just getting over their season the prior year. And more in a training camp phase. But because I had a baby the January before, I was just kind of getting back into shape at that point. And I thought, what better way to celebrate Des's first birthday than to do my first Ironman?
Awesome.
So that's what led to the sort of adventure challenge of us going to Israel. The travel from New York is not that bad because it's just a direct flight to Tel Aviv. So that was easy. And then once we got there, we had to rent a car at the equivalent of about 3 o'clock in the morning for us. So we did it. We got there, our reservation wasn't in the system, so we ended up having to just deal with that. We did it somehow, and then we got in the car, didn't have a GPS that was really working, and the map did not show where we were going.
Wow.
So we just kind of went for it and had to do a 4-hour drive through the desert to get from the northern part of Israel to the very southern coast on the Red Sea.
Wow. So where was the race? What city was it?
It's in a resort town called Eilat, and it's separated from the other major cities in Israel by, there's probably one city that's about 2.5 hours away, but the rest is about a 4-hour car drive.
Wow.
Depending on how fast you go. Yeah, Israel has like a 4K coastline on the Red Sea, Egypt and Jordan. And that's where Eilat is. Wow. So you stand at where the swim venue was, and you can see a big flag of and the city of Aqaba in Jordan, and then to the right is you cannot see Egypt from there, but it's right on the other side of the coast.
Wow.
So it's pretty far removed from the cities like Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
Okay, good. So did it make you nervous a little bit to travel on your own without a map to get 4 hours to get there?
We were kind of going on this sort of sleep deprivation just to get us there. And one person had told us that we should stop in this little town on the way there. Kind of got lost in translation. We thought there would be cafes and something to eat, but it was just like an overlook. But I'm glad that we went in the end because we got to see these cool animals, and it was a nice little break.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was just.
we made it. We did it.
Awesome.
And we got to see part of the bike course on the way in,
Right.
Which was good for us, and then we didn't have to really.
Yeah.
The pictures you see of those orangey red rocks, that's what the bike course looks like. And that's the desert.
So you had a chance to preview the course, correct?
We did.
Yeah,
We went up 2 days before the race.
Okay.
When I say went up, we drove our cars up to the transition area, the T2, which is at the top of a pretty good climb from sea level up to this where the transition area was. It's how long? 30-minute climb by bike or so.
Oh, wow.
We didn't do that 2 days before the race. Instead, we just started at that point, and we thought, oh, okay, well, we've done the climb. It'll just be flat up here. But that wasn't the case at all. It just continued going up and down and up at huge hills.
Oh, wow.
The day we previewed the course, it was about 60 degrees, and it felt just like perfect riding temperature. We were wearing shorts.
Wow.
But on race day, it was much cooler and windier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll talk about the race day experience. But so this picture looks like you are swimming in the pool. Is that your hotel?
Yeah, that was me swimming in the spec. That was our hotel. There weren't any lane lines, but it was almost 25 yards long, and then it was kind of like an L, so you could get in a good little swim workout. I didn't really want to do much before the race. I just wanted to loosen up, and
right.
The pool water was much more inviting temperature-wise than the Red Sea was, because the air was pretty cold.
Yeah.
I didn't get in because it was too cold. Both of those bodies of water were too cold for me. Because it's winter there. It is winter.
Oh, okay. I would have expected it to be warm over there during the race. No. Okay. So that's good. You had a chance to loosen up and get a chance to look at the course and practice, the bike, the swim, and the run.
We did. Yeah, the run was just all around the kind of the waterfront and the resort area. There were 3 loops that we had to do after doing a 7-mile stretch. So we got to see that before, mostly just because we were walking around and shopping.
Awesome. But did you rest the day before the race?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So yeah, let's talk about the whole race day experience and your thoughts leading up to the race. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts the day before leading up to race day?
Well, the race organizers did a really good job of promoting the pros that were there. So we had a big pre-race pro panel where we all had to go up on stage and we got asked questions. So that was a good way to kind of get into the spirit of the whole event. Heard about the course a little bit more and met some of the other pros that were racing. Since it was my first iron distance race attempt, and because the course is incredibly challenging, for me it was just going to be like a long training day,
right?
And sort of stay in that effort and see how it played out.
Wow, good. And so is this Laurel in this swim picture?
Well, it's one of each.
One of each. Okay, thought I got. Okay, good. So tell me about the swim course. And did you said you were swimming in the Red Sea? What was that like?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was one of the prettiest swims I've ever seen, and it was a pretty calm sea, and there were mountains on both sides. Sun was rising. It was really, really pretty, and the water was clear. You could see the bottom. You could see fish. I don't really look while I'm swimming because I'm afraid I'm going to see something I don't want to see. But other people said they saw lots of things like turtles, and it's a place where there's a lot of diving and there's a reef, so the water was really pretty.
Yeah, and if you look at this picture, it looks like just any other lake or ocean
like
we expect on the East Coast, but as soon as you go under, it was just totally clear, and you could see tons of things. And like I said, I wasn't trying to look for it. Like Laurel said, I wasn't going to look for anything. I don't really know what's down there, but it was just so clear and just nice water. And I just got in a groove and we started with the pro men, so I just did my best to stay with the pro men and was lucky enough to stay on their feet the whole time.
How many people did the race altogether? About
we think over 2,000.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people. It was big. Yeah, there was also a half distance race too.
So just tell us a little bit about in case people don't know, the distance of the race that you did.
So it was a 2.4 mile swim, and then 112 mile bike, and a full marathon, 26.2.
Wow. Yeah, that's a long day. and it was Rebecca.
Even though it's the same distance as a standard long distance race, it's so hilly that it took us, I think the average times are probably 1.5 to 2 hours longer than a typical Ironman.
Wow. Yeah, we have a couple slides of your effort, so I definitely want to you to walk us through that. So let's take a look at the bike course. I know you said it was, you know, super hilly and challenging. So that must have been tough, riding 112 miles.
Look at that picture. It doesn't even look like I'm in a race because in transition, the first transition after the swim, I took everything off and put on full winter gear. I mean, not pants, but those are pretty thick, the longest bike shorts I could find. I have an insulated fleece bike jersey, and then that's a pretty thick running jacket. And I have a shirt underneath that, and it's a base layer. Plus, I had a buff around my neck and an insulated hat and full winter gloves.
Wow.
Yeah, so after the swim, I took about 9 minutes to put on as much winter clothes as I could. Like I wore, I put on leg warmers, probably 3 shirts, gloves. It's really hard to get on tight bike clothes when you're wet. So it was really, I could hear them announcing the girl behind me, and I was just, it was getting like more and more nerve wracking because I couldn't get the clothes on.
Oh, I know.
First I couldn't get my wetsuit off, and my hands were freezing, and then I couldn't get my clothes on. So, but I knew that putting that extra bit of clothing on was going to be necessary, because once we got to the top of the mountain, it was 41 degrees and windy. So, and we were out there for 6.5 hours. So, yeah, so I'm wearing something equally.
Yeah, I was definitely not hot at all, even with all those clothes on.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you kind of had an idea that it was going to be pretty cold, right?
Yeah,
I think we checked the weather and talked to other people who had done the race before, but we couldn't really, the thing we didn't know whether it was going to be bad or not, it was the wind, and it did turn out to be pretty windy at the top.
Wow. Yeah, so I have a screenshot of it looks like the conditions,
yeah.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
The top is the elevation of the bike course, so you can see that it goes up and never goes back down. So the first part is just a climb, and that was actually sort of welcoming because it was so cold. It was a good way to get warm. Even on that part, it didn't get hot. And then it just continues up and down and up and down, and just never flat. And some of the downhills are pretty fast, and some of those uphills that are in the middle there are really steep.
Wow. So what about mentally? Like, how did you feel? I know you said it took an extra hour and a half. How did you feel mentally, riding through these climbs?
I felt great until about an hour to go. I calculated that based on what I thought I did the first lap, that I would get back to, it was 2 laps. So I thought I would get back to T2 at like 15 minutes faster than what it actually took me. So, because there was a really big wind that wasn't there the first lap. So we had a big headwind on the way back, and that was just mentally really draining because I just felt like I was never going to get back to T2. And we were talking like 6 hours. So it was like 6:15, 6:20. And I was like, if I don't get back there by 6:30, like, this is really bad. Like, am I ever going to get back? And so it did take me 6 hours and 30 minutes.
So what is your average, just to put it in perspective for others, like what is your typical bike time?
In the last Ironman I did, for example, in Kona, which is a really hard bike ride, I think I did 5:30. I've done I don't remember what I did. I haven't done any like really fast Ironmans, but I think in Brazil I did like 5 hours. So it's a good hour and a half more time out there.
Yeah.
It's cool to pace yourself. There's a lot more time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the kind of course where you can look at your watts and say, okay, well, this is where I need to be. I need to just kind of sit in this spot and keep pedaling. It was just kind of like every few minutes you had some kind of wind or hill to face. And I just was trying to keep myself from not going too hard.
Right.
But then, like, by the end, it was just like, I just got to get through this. But I think that what helped me a lot was that I didn't feel the pressure of trying to hit a certain watts. So I was able to kind of think of more about my nutrition and stay on top of that. And I was able to, and I just felt really strong by the time the run came.
So yeah, what was your fueling strategy like? You used XRCEL. How did you use XRCEL, and how did it help you get through the race, especially through these really tough conditions?
I think I put either 5 or 6 XRCELs in a water bottle. I can't remember.
Yeah, I had 6.
Yeah, okay, it was probably 6 because we were calculating 1 per hour. And so that was in my water bottle on the down tube, and then I had a sports drink of my own on the Aero bottle, and then I just was able to hit all the aid stations and get water and the drink that they were giving out. And I think I finished all of the XRCEL.
And how did you go ahead?
So,
how did it help you?
Yeah, so I think because I was able to fuel right and I had the XRCEL, I stayed mentally on top of everything that entire way. Even when I got to the run, I wasn't expecting to get off the bike and think, okay, this is so exciting. Now I get to run a marathon. But that happened. And I felt so good when I started running. And I think it's because I fueled right.
And you, Laurel?
Yeah, I think I did the same thing where because we were out there for so long, there was one of the things I was thinking about more was, oh, I need to eat something. And that was always like a little incentive. Get through an hour, I get to eat, have an XRCEL, like something to look forward to. And I think because I got that down, I started the marathon and felt great.
And then on the run, marathon itself, there was a special needs area that we passed 6 times maybe. And it was really easily accessible. So I had all my XRCELs there, and I just took one every time not every time I passed it, because we passed it twice on one loop, but every other time I passed it.
Oh, awesome. So good. I'm glad it worked well for you. Both coming in first and second. So that's awesome. Just tell us a little bit about the run. We haven't touched upon that yet. Just, what was the terrain like? Was it hilly? Was it flat?
So we biked up from the swim start up a mountain, and the transition area was up there, the T2. So when we finished riding, we finished on that hill. We gave our bikes to somebody. They took the bikes. Then they transported them down after the race. So we gave the bikes to somebody, ran into the changing tent, changed, and then ran out and had to run straight down the mountain.
Oh, wow.
7 miles, a major steep climb. I think there's a picture I gave you, the scenic shot. It was like, I think it's on my Instagram, but you can see from the top of where we were running down, you can see the Red Sea, Egypt, and Jordan from the very top of where we were running. So it was really tempting to stop and look at the view.
Take a picture.
I just let myself fall down the mountain, and I started the run with a 4:53 mile, followed by I think like a 5 and then another 5. I was really going fast because I just let gravity take over, and it's the worst way to start a marathon. I don't recommend it.
It might seem like a good idea at that point, but the pounding on the quads catches up with you.
Yeah, it was just I was trying to catch Beck. She was about 40 minutes ahead of me, or 30 minutes ahead of me or something. No, maybe not that much, 20. But I could see some people way down the mountain, like little ants, like you could kind of see. I was like, okay, there she is. And then I get to that person. It wasn't her. It was like somebody else. But the half course was going too. So there were a lot of people on the course to see. And I just flew down the mountain. And then when we hit the flat part, I could barely even move because my quads had gotten so trashed from the pounding that, it was really difficult. When I finally did see Beck, I was walking. And I've never walked in a marathon after 8 miles. But I got myself back. I got my legs back by just sort of shaking my legs out, and there was another guy who started running with me for a second and got me back into it. And then we had to go down again.
Oh, no.
Once I finally got onto the flat part, I started running like a lot slower. But I was able to do it.
So you got into a rhythm after.
Yeah, a slow rhythm.
Yeah, she was flying out there.
Yeah.
It really was. I was doing more of a, okay, I can just get from K to K. I see where the next K is. I'm going to get there, just to sort of make my experience of my first race one that I was going to cross the finish line.
Right.
Yeah, it became like less of what place am I going to get, where's the competition, to more of just, I have to finish this thing.
Right. Yeah, because the course was so challenging.
Yeah, the competition was the course.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I hope I don't injure something running down the mountain. Like, it's a recipe for an injury to go that fast down. Yeah, so I passed that. I did it. There is picture. I managed to pass back about 18K into the marathon, which is almost halfway. And I thought she would go with me, but she just stayed her own pace. And then it was just, from there it was just like, wow, I'm going to win if I finish. I had a pretty big lead, but it was really hard to keep going. Really hard. I did a lot of run a mile, walk a couple steps. I stopped and had my XRCEL. Like, I stopped, didn't run with it. I wanted to make sure I had every last bit and swallowed everything, because I just needed every calorie I could get. And it was nice because I had a biker with me, and he, one aid station, probably could have gotten DQ'd for this, but he went back and got me the XRCEL and handed it to me. So it was nice.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
I guess I earned it.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts then, towards the end of the marathon? You knew you were winning. So what was running through your mind?
In the last couple miles, I started feeling better. So I think that's how XRCEL really works, is like you start feeling really good towards the end. And I thought, oh wait, course record, I should try for that. So I started going really fast, and I finished in like a little bit over a 6-minute mile, I think. And by the time I saw my friends, they were cheering for me in the very end. They were like, you were running so fast. And it's like, well, I wanted to get the course record, and I think I missed it by like a second or 20 seconds or something in the end.
Oh,
so
no.
if I hadn't taken 9 minutes to change and to put all those bike clothes on, it would have been.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea that it took 9 minutes. That's a long transition time for most people. I mean, you typically do like a minute for transition?
Yeah, I couldn't get the bike clothes on. It was so difficult to put like tight, fleecy bike clothes on.
Right.
When you're wet. So
right. Yeah. But so that's awesome. You really made up time then on the run. And
I finished feeling really good.
That's awesome. And Rebecca, this was your first full distance triathlon. There you are, coming in right behind Laurel. So what was running through your mind, and how did you feel?
I actually felt pretty strong the whole way. About halfway through, my quads really started burning. So I felt like my running form kind of suffered a little bit. And so I had to really concentrate on trying to run the way I normally run, instead of sort of slamming down my quads, because they were pretty shot from that downhill. But I was really surprised how mentally I was able to just stay in the moment the whole time, and not get overwhelmed by the number of Ks that is a marathon. So when I saw 26, I thought, okay, I'm almost there. But even though I had a really long way to go, but it was good to stay in that positive mindset. Right. I think that's the only way I was able to finish the race.
Right. No, that's awesome. And then, so the two of you together, that must have been just such an awesome feeling, right? Just Laurel wins and Rebecca right behind, and there you are. So,
yeah.
There's really no better way to finish a race.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times before at the New York City Triathlon. We did in 2010, I think. We finished 1, 2, and Yeah, it's just the best feeling.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you just had a baby last year, so it's pretty amazing that you were able to just get back into it and come in second.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised I was able to do an Ironman just a year later because I had a C-section, so it was a little bit of a delayed return to racing. But yeah, body is really resilient. So if you put your mind to something, no reason why somebody that has a baby isn't able to come back stronger than they were before.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Congratulations. You guys had such an amazing race, and really fun to see. So what about after the race? Did you have a chance to relax and recover? I have a couple pictures of and food bloggers, you know.
Yes, the food there was we loved the food there. And that picture is of these little egg cakes. They had, Israeli food is really interesting because there's like traditional like Jewish food, there's Middle Eastern food, there's Yemen, food from Yemen. There's lots of different cultures in the area, so the food reflects that. And
yeah, we tasted everything. I mean, after the race, it was a Saturday, so the food that was served at the restaurant was gefilte fish and chopped liver, and what else? Something. I mean, we gobbled it up. I like that kind of food, so that was really good. But before the race, there were so many healthy Israeli salads. They eat salad for breakfast there, which I got used to pretty easily.
Yeah, that was
really nice, and everything was just so fresh. And like Laurel said, it's kind of a little bit of a melting pot as far as food goes, and everything. It was kind of we were able to experiment after the race more, but
after.
so many different things we wanted to recreate when we got home.
Oh, awesome. And so people can check out like all your recipes on your website, athletefood.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really good. You should check it out. We have a lot of great recipes for endurance athletes.
Yeah, and a lot of them are inspired by travels. Like this trip.
Awesome. So yeah, so just real quickly, tell us about what's next for you. What races are you doing for the rest of the season?
Well, tomorrow we leave for Mexico. We're doing the Monterey 70.3, and that is a championship, the Latin American Championships for 70.3 this time.
Yeah, so since that race was in January, and that's typically when people are in their training camps, I took a lot of time off afterwards to regroup and recover. So I haven't raced since then, except for I did a couple of local races. I did the Red Hook Crit, which is a really big 5K race in Brooklyn. And then last week we actually went 1-2 again in a bike race. So that was fun. That was a good way to just get the legs used to that effort of hard riding again for coming up, get ready for this weekend.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw that you both won a pro women's race, bike race.
Right. I mean, we were in the category Cat 4 because we don't have the PCI, whatever it is, the license.
Right.
But there were a lot of people like us in the race that were fit. So it's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. So, well, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing your race experience. I'm really excited to see what the rest of the season brings for you. And so XRCEL fueled Laurel and Rebecca for this full distance triathlon. So if anybody wants to try it out for themselves, you can check it out on our website. It's XRCEL.com. And if you use code TriFuel, you'll get 20% off. Thank you guys, and see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.